These are potential corrections.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting to order tonight. Meeting ID 836-1618-3946. Meeting of Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. It's 7 p.m. Pledge of allegiance, please.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Richard Boyd,
Here.
Eric Gall,
Here.
Roberto Garza,
Here.
and myself present.
Like to set the agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Have a second.
Second. Boyd, second.
And the voice vote.
Was approved.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Item number 5. Declaration of conflict of interest.
None.
None? None.
There is none. Moving on to public comment, unrelated to this public hearing tonight. And if you do have a comment, there's a sign-in sheet on the podium. Do we have any? Any on Zoom? Only during the hearing on Zoom, okay. Thank you. So we have none tonight. Move on to item number 7, approval of minutes from September 25th of 2025.
And I shared with the members just a shot at 3 or 4 corrections.
Yes.
On the first page of the minutes, page numbers on my copy are a little confusing. First page of the minutes, under chairperson summarized procedures to be followed. I suggested that we clarify that their home is on the island in Island Lake.
Whereabouts are you, Dick?
Actually, page 2 of the minutes.
Page 2. Okay.
Yes. And then any questions, I guess, on that? Just clarifying that their home is on the island.
That's good.
Straightforward, yeah. Right. 3 headings down, under Township Zoning Administrator presents summary. The second paragraph says the dimensions of the garage with overhang is 118 feet. I think that should be dimensions of the lot and strike with the overhang.
You don't think the garage is that big?
It's not built yet,
Okay.
but I don't think it's,
Right, I know.
but I don't think
I
it's
think
gonna,
that's it.
And in my copy, a couple pages back. In the discussion before finding of fact, in there, the name lupine is used a couple times, referring to an adjacent property owner. And it should be Leppin, Leppien. Pardon me?
Or
Right above finding of fact, right above the heading finding of facts.
page
Above
4.
all of those where it has the 4 and the underline.
Your 4 is on the side there, and then. Yep. Yep.
I think that's all I saw is 2 places. And that's it for me.
I make a motion to approve the September 25th minutes as amended.
I'll second the motion, Gall.
Motion approved. All
All in favor?
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No?
Nope.
All right. Can we move on to the public hearing? Okay. Okay. Public hearing case ZBA 2023. ZBA docket number 23036775 dash AS. This is the Braggs Road, oh, I'm sorry. 371421. Okay.
I make a motion to open the public hearing at 7:08.
Wade seconds.
This is the Braggs Road variance request.
I need a vote, please.
Need a vote?
I have a first and a second. I need the vote, please. To open the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Unopposed. Okay. You have a motion to open the public hearing?
We just did.
You just said, okay,
Yep.
thank you. And the subject. The notes. Did I already announce that? By announcing the number?
You can just tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. Okay, so this is about the Braggs Road variance request. An unconditional withdrawal. Of the application. You help me with that?
The applicant is gonna present their case. You're not, is he on Zoom? I'm not sure.
Derek Ansel,
Is on Zoom?
yes.
Do you ask him to spell his name when he gets on for him, please?
Just one moment as I move Derek into Zoom analyst section to be able to speak. Derek, you should be able now to share your video and unmute. Okay.
Good evening.
And could you ask him to spell his name as well?
Spell his name.
Ask him to spell his name.
Please spell your name.
Derek Van Solkema, Derek. Last name is Van Solkema, VAN space SOLKEMA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You just tell me he has the floor so he can present his case.
Please present your case.
Okay. Obviously, good evening, Chairman Garza and members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'll be representing Beggs Partners LLC. Thank you for hearing us tonight. We're here to respectfully request that the board accept our written withdrawal of the variance application remanded from the Michigan Court of Appeals. As the township's legal memorandum dated January 12, 2026 states on page 18, our withdrawal request is procedurally proper. The Court of Appeals vacated the prior Zoning Board of Appeals decision solely for inadequate factual findings and remanded for further consideration, effectively returning the application to a pre-vote status. Under Robert's Rule of Order, as cited in your attorney's memo, withdrawal is appropriate before any new vote occurs. The memorandum confirms that we as Beggs Partners, as the applicant for the variance, retain initial control over our own requests. That's on page 17. And that variances are granted only at the property owner's request. Because we no longer seek the variance, continuing the process would be inefficient and contrary to the owner-driven nature of Section 8 of the ordinance. Accepting our withdrawal ends the matter quickly, avoids relitigating the remanded standards, and conserves the ZBA and the township resources. The memo sets a clear standard. Objections must demonstrate specific legal prejudice or damage to a third party's interest if withdrawal is granted, again on page 17 and 18. To date, no substantive objections have been filed, and we are not aware of any evidence that granting withdrawal would impair legal or property rights for objectors of the variance request. The memo also notes that time and expenses already incurred in prior appeals are not sufficient grounds to deny our withdrawal request. Approving the request therefore leaves all parties without prejudice and promotes efficiency for everyone involved. Since our original application in June of 2023, our circumstances have changed materially. We are no longer requiring or desiring the variance for any purpose on the property. Continuing to litigate factual findings on remand serves no practical purpose for Beggs Partners, the township, or any interested parties. Withdrawal provides the clean finality this matter needs after nearly 3 years of proceedings. For all of these reasons and fully consistent with the township's attorney's memorandum, we respectfully ask the board to accept our withdrawal of the variance application and to adopt a resolution or order reflecting that acceptance with the appropriate findings that the request is procedurally proper and that no demonstrated prejudice exists. As the memo emphasizes the importance of articulating your reasons and facts for supporting the decision that you have to make tonight. Thank you again for your time and service. We're happy to answer any questions.
I think they're going to ask questions at the deliberation, okay? Once the hearing's closed, if they have any. Okay, Derek? Nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever met you in person.
I'm sorry, what was your name? Nice to meet you as well.
Pardon me? Oh,
I
thank you.
didn't get your name, but nice to meet you as well.
Deb Graber. I'm
Oh,
the
Deb,
zoning
nice to meet you, Deb.
administrator. Yep. The hearing tonight was publicly noticed in the Record Eagle on January 6, 2026, and it was mailed to all the properties within 300 feet on January 5th, 2026. Several people are going to be joining via Zoom. Our attorney, Matt Kuschel from Fahey Schultz, will be on, following me who's the attorney representing Whitewater Township. I'm kind of hitting the highlights of this. Our attorneys will be getting into a little more detail. Derek Van Solkema, Ryan Sheffer, the Bags Road Partners, Mike Herring, and some of the documents is the attorney for the Bags Road Partners. The letter of withdrawal from Attorney Herring, dated November 5th in several places, was received by the zoning office on Friday, December 19th. I just want to get that in the record. I know that the document states November 5th in a lot of places, but the clerk nor myself ever saw the document until later into December. And I had the clerk stamp it received when I was in the office on Monday, the 22nd of December. The Whitewater Township Board approved a motion back in the spring of 23 and deemed this particular parcel unbuildable, resulting in a variance request that was previously heard and approved by the ZBA in August of 2023. But as the case escalated to the Michigan Court of Appeals, the appeal was remanded back to the ZBA for further explanation of decision to grant a land division variance. And that was done in June of 2025. I just want to give you, I know that we have a lot of new members on our ZBA, so I kind of want to hit the highlights on this. The ZBA provided insufficient factual findings on the 5 necessary elements to permit the judges to meaningfully review the ZBA's decision to grant a variance. So today, January 22nd, 2026, the ZBA has before them a request from Bags Road Partners to withdraw that original variance request. Most variance requests, when they come before the ZBA, are good for 1 year. And if you don't act on the request, it becomes null and void. We kind of got that information when we had our training in August, or at least some of us got training in August on that from our attorneys. But has the clock started? And that's something our attorney can answer. After the ZBA approved the variance request in August of 2023, the Whitewater Township Board made a motion at a special meeting and deemed the property buildable. After in May, they said it was unbuildable. And then in September, based on the decision of an approved variance, they said it's now a buildable lot. So something to think about, and I don't know how this is going to play out, but does this motion also need to be withdrawn or repealed by the Township Board? The applicant has a responsibility to support their request. The hearing is the time for all of you to listen to all comments and wait to deliberate and ask your questions after the hearing has been closed. The request before you from the property owners are to approve or deny the withdrawal of the original variance requested in August of 2023. There are proposed motions that you received for your review. You can use those motions, you can modify those motions, you can write your own. But if you do choose to deny the request, we will need to set a meeting to complete the Court of Appeals request to provide sufficient findings for a decision which may approve or deny the original variance. So I'm going to turn it on to Matt Kuschel, who's our attorney. And I think LIAA will take care of that. Do you guys have any questions for me? I'm hitting the highlights. I wasn't here when this happened either. I just want to make sure that we touch on those things. You've got Matt Kuschel.
Yes, and I just promoted Matt to panelist. So now you can unmute and share your microphone whenever you're ready. There we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Kuschel from Fahey Schultz. We represent the township or the township attorney. With me this evening is Miss Lindsay Gurgel, who's also assisted on this matter. So Deb did a nice job kind of summarizing how we got here. And of course, the applicant has given their overview. I do want to note we provided the ZBA with 2 sample decision forms. One was a sample that would approve the withdrawal request that's been submitted by the applicant, and a second would be a sample that would deny the withdrawal request. You also have in your packet the January letter we drafted regarding kind of the history and the background. I think again, like I said, the facts are pretty well understood. And Deb did a nice job laying those out for you. So what I'll spend my time on here is giving some pointers to the board as you consider the public comments and what you want to be kind of thinking about or potentially asking questions about. And it's a bit of an interesting situation because we do have the variance procedure that's in the zoning ordinance. So that gives us, or I'm sorry, the land division ordinance, which gives us the parameters and those elements that must be met to grant a variance. But there isn't at the same time a similar set of elements for a withdrawal. And so you're not given a lot of guidance. But that's also, while it's unfortunate, it's not exactly surprising because in most cases, if an applicant submitted an application and then they come in 2 weeks later and they're like, oh, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. Can I, I'll just withdraw that, and the ZBA or the planning commission or whomever just doesn't have to consider it. It's a pretty straightforward request. Of course, as we've gone through, this is more complicated with the different parties and, of course, the litigation, hence the more formal procedure here and kind of providing some standards so that you have some guideposts in terms of considering the matter before you. But there is plenty of case law that discusses situations where applications have been withdrawn in front of local bodies. So it's not something that is unprecedented or unusual. It's really more the specific kind of procedural points where we find ourselves. So we're just doing our best to put everything as transparent as possible, hence using the public hearing procedure process for this request. So in looking at how can the ZBA kind of, what guideposts can it use to kind of wrap its head around positions of individuals who may come before you here at the hearing. We provided both a legal context using the Michigan court rules, as well as some kind of similar situations that we found in case law, as well as then the parliamentary procedure pieces. So as kind of touched on initially, there's I don't see a procedural issue with the board considering the request. And as I also said, there's many instances where applications are withdrawn, so there's nothing unique about that. Then, what would the board weigh? Because typically an applicant would just come in and say, oh, well, I don't want to do this anymore, so I'll withdraw it. And it's like, okay, here's your application back. We won't do anything. So here, and that's what the applicant is saying. You heard him say that at the top of the public hearing. So any public comment in support of that is welcome, just as much as any public comment that would be in opposition, to put other facts on the record. And as we've kind of laid out, it's looking for, I think the ZBA should look for an actual tangible kind of legal or factual damage That's that injury language. If I'm saying, I will be harmed if this application is withdrawn, then, well, that might be a reason to then require it to go forward, because if it's withdrawn, then there's a legal harm to another interest. And the example I kind of put in here was if there was an agreement between other parties that this variance would be applied for. So sometimes you'll see that in commercial real estate transactions where someone has, let's say, an industrial piece of property, and someone wants to put a gas station on it, let's say, but that is allowed only in the commercial district. So if there was a purchase and sale agreement between, the industrial property owner selling to the commercial property owner that says, the industrial property owner will aid and assist in a variance or rezoning to allow the proposed gas station, then that creates a contract right between those two parties. And if then the industrial property owner submitted an application and said, hey, I want to rezone or get this variance or whatever their contract says he was going to do as the landowner, and then a year later comes in and says, oh, I don't want to do that anymore, that person who wants to build a gas station could come in and say, no, see, I have a contract here that requires him to look for this variance. And if you let him take it away, then I don't get my legal interest that I have under this contract. So that's a way to maybe kind of conceptualize or try and think of a situation where a tangible piece could be shown. And as the public comments, I've seen the written commentary, but I haven't. But certainly everyone at the meeting or individuals participating on Zoom, we haven't heard your comments, which is the point of the public hearing. So using that as kind of an illustrative purpose for this kind of vague legal standard, if you will, I hope that can help you take in the information and consider, which parts are important to the request in front of you for the ZBA. And certainly, we're here on the hearing. We'll be listening attentively to all the comments. So if the ZBA has any questions about, well, we heard them say this, how would you apply that, or what, any comments we can offer to assist in again working to create a crystallization or tangibility to what is admittedly somewhat of a kind of vague, like I said, or difficult to conceptualize legal standard. So that's what I have for the board, and we're happy to answer any additional questions now if the board has questions, or again, as I said, after deliberation or after public comment and during deliberation.
Any questions?
Not yet.
Additional public comment.
I'm going to address the next item, which is correspondence received. I only received 2 written correspondence. One was from Quintessential Williamsburg, and I forwarded that on to you. There was no name on that one. And there was a correspondence from the Highmores, who own property on Baggs Road. And you received both of those commentaries,
Yes.
correspondence, but I heard from nobody else. So now you can start your public comment.
A motion to start public comments?
No motion.
A motion needed?
Just anybody else wants to speak?
Would anybody like to comment at this time?
Anybody on Zoom?
Anyone on Zoom?
And for those on Zoom, if you would like to make public comment, do so or indicate so by raising your hand in the Zoom app. Should be at the bottom center of your screen. You may have to tap on your screen in order to show the controls, or move your mouse to the bottom of the screen to raise your hand. Chairman Garza, I don't see any
I don't
hands
see
raised.
one either. Hmm. So at this point, do we take a motion to close
Move to close the public hearing.
the public hearing?
Boyd,
Brooksimo second. 7:30.
I need a vote, please.
aye.
Boyd?
Aye.
All aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Public hearing is closed.
7:31?
Any discussion?
There's no public comments having been made, no Zoom calls made. Is there anybody that has any, I haven't seen any objection really to accepting the withdrawal. Is that correct or did I miss something?
No.
No.
They would
The
normally
township-
come through Deb, and she has not seen anything other than in the two documents, but those are both supporting.
Supporting withdrawal.
Yep.
I wrote down some findings of fact. The property owner's request. There's no objections, like you said. No interested parties have spoken. The withdrawal would not damage any third parties or there's no known contracts that we know of from the homeowner, landowner. Joining property owners have been noticed and the letter was procedurally correct. Think of anything else?
Is there any comment from the township? I mean, is there anything in any way the township would have a problem with us withdrawing it or anything, or is that not something that we need to discuss?
Could I ask that you guys speak into the microphone so we can hear you, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting, but we can't hear anything.
I guess
Thank
that
you.
would be
Understood.
a good question for Mr. Kerschel. Is there
Is
the
there any
township-
objections from the township or any issues from the township side of things?
No, there's no issue from the township, nor did the township board or representatives of the township present additional facts for your consideration on the withdrawal.
Okay.
I guess that could go under no objections from the interested parties.
Is there any other findings of fact you wanted to talk about, or is that everything you had written down?
That's all I have.
Okay. Well,
Motion, do we need a motion to accept those findings of fact?
Yes.
Should we do one by one?
So do you have the sample resolution to approve the withdrawal that we circulated?
I do not.
honestly, do not see. the
No,
thing.
I do not
I
either.
did not either.
That's what I was
I thought
digging.
it was me. I printed it out and my printer ran out of.
Yeah,
You guys get it?
I printed, I think, everything that was emailed, but maybe I missed a
I
document.
plead the same.
Yeah, and they are similar. So it's a little hard to tell which one is the denial and which one's the approval because on
Was
the,
this in the, sorry to interrupt, was this in the letter that you wrote us, or is this a separate document?
Separate.
no, it was a separate document that would have been in the email, and I just noticed given the similarities between the two documents, only one may have been included. So what I would propose to do is read off the resolution that's prepared and then ensure Madam Clerk made some additional findings that she would propose to include, so we can then capture those, and you'll then have a complete, essentially a very formal motion that you can then move to adopt the resolution as presented, which would have all the information we've listed off. And then as well, reading it here, everyone in the public and everyone on Zoom will also know, just kind of the procedural background pieces that are part of this resolution or formal motion. So, and the reason I'm using this sample instead of the denial sample is exactly as I heard the members stating. There was no public comment that objected to the withdrawal, and therefore that seems to be the direction of the ZBA, given the evidence presented by the applicant. So the resolution will just have at the top a number, state the meeting was held today at 7 p.m. It'll note who's present and absent, and if there's a motion to present the resolution, who offered it, who seconded it. And then it goes through some of the procedural history. So we'll start there. Whereas in 2020, a property within the township was divided to create parcel number 28-13-136-001-02, located at 6631 Baggs Road, Williamsburg, Michigan, 49690, known as the property. The property was subsequently sold to Baggs Partners LLC, who will refer to as Baggs Partners or the applicant, in February 2022. Whereas on June 19, 2023, Baggs Partners applied to the Whitewater Township Zoning Board of Appeals, which is the ZBA, requesting a variance from the 4:1 depth-to-width ratio requirement of Whitewater Township's land division ordinance, being ordinance number 26, which we'll refer to as the ordinance. Whereas on August 24th, 2023, the ZBA considered and ultimately granted the variance request. Whereas following appeal by appellants, the Court of Appeals vacated the circuit court decision and remanded the application, quote, to the ZBA to provide factual findings to support a determination that the requirements of the ordinance were satisfied, close quote. Whereas the variance application is again pending before the ZBA. Whereas rather than proceed with a second hearing before the ZBA, applicant wishes to withdraw its application and request for a variance, and submitted a formal withdrawal letter dated November 5th, 2025, stating Baggs Partners, quote, no longer seeks the variance request, close quote, and it unconditionally withdraws its variance application and any reliance on the granted variance effective immediately, close quote. Whereas notice of the withdrawal request has been provided to all counsel of record, to individuals within 300 feet of the subject property, consistent with MCL 125.3103, which is the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. Whereas the matter having come before the ZBA and a public hearing having been duly noticed and held on January 22nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. at the Township Hall, and all persons having been heard, now therefore, the Whitewater Township Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings of fact. Number one, request withdrawal. The applicant delivered a withdrawal letter to the township and ZBA on November 5th, 2025 on its own initiative. The withdrawal letter was provided by Baggs Partners LLC, who originally made the variance request. The withdrawal letter presents an unconditional withdrawal of the variance request. Two, valid request. The request to withdraw the variance is procedurally proper. And then we had a space for objections from interested parties. And was there, I believe, Madam Clerk had language on that there were none objections were presented.
None.
So no, actually, we can even say no objections were made to withdrawing the application during the public hearing by either an interested party or other member of the public. And then after that space, we had a weighing of interests. And to withdraw, the ZBA would find that Bags Partners' request only affects the property and no third-party legal interest would be materially harmed if Bags Partners' application is withdrawn, which is of course consistent with the fact that no material objection was made.
Do we need to include there was actually letters of support?
You absolutely can do that. So I'll make a other findings heading, and we can put other findings here. So we want to say you indicated there were letters of support. So this would be a letter was received from Quintessential Williamsburg that supported accepting the withdrawal of the application.
Correct.
And then I believe it was the Highmores also submitted a written comment, about 8 pages or so. Covered a lot of different ground there, much of which we've seen since we've moved through the issue. And I know they raise, again, concerns they've raised throughout the process, but I didn't see, and I'm happy to be corrected, a specific kind of objection to the withdrawal request.
Well, it was just presented as a timeline, right?
Well, there was an
Right.
opinion in the email, basically,
Yeah.
the way I took it, that if they want to withdraw it, my understanding was that it was the obvious solution to it. However,
In their email, yeah.
in their email
Oh, I
body,
would
yeah, in the
agree with
email
that.
body. So they were in
That's right.
support is the way I read
Right,
it.
there, it was supported, the attachment, I'm saying the.
Oh, yeah, attachment was just a timeline.
Attachment they presented,
Yeah.
they specifically identified it as a timeline.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. So email correspondence from Mr. Frank Highmore received prior to the meeting included a timeline of events.
Technically Connie and Frank Highmore.
Oh, yes, I see they both signed it. I was just looking at the email header. And they said, we support Bags Partners LLC's request to rescind their application for a variance.
Yep.
And they do go on to say, which that in their position, they believe that the ZBA grants the request, then Whitewater Township Board should then take some action. So that's kind of the full scope, but relative to this particular question in front of the ZBA, I think the quoted language is sufficient. And then, Madam Clerk, I believe I recall you mentioning no evidence, like there were no comments essentially. So we would write that as no evidence or comments were received that withdrawal of the application would create damages or impact a contract. Or otherwise negatively impact of third-party legal interest.
Correct.
And then were there additional? Because I think you listed like
I
five
think
things. I'm
you
not
hit,
sure.
yeah, I think you hit them all.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Certainly feel free to double check and make sure.
Excuse me, Wendy,
Yeah.
for the purpose of the minutes, didn't you read like three separate findings earlier? I did want to go back to those.
Yeah, I did like 5, but they're all included in this resolution now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify that. Thank you.
I did say that the letter was procedurally correct, but I think that you already hit on that at the beginning of the resolution.
Right, yeah, we have a line for valid request, and we just said the draft was the
Mhm.
request to withdraw the variance is procedurally proper.
Right.
Okay, so with those additions, that would be kind of all the findings of fact, which again makes sense, as I said, kind of during my piece. It's really that, applicants withdraw is consistent. We see that in other places. And then with no, I was anticipating or was available to respond to any additional public comments, but none were received. So there really isn't anything to flesh out factually there. So then the draft resolution would go on. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Whitewater Township Zoning Board of Appeals for the reasons stated on the record during the meeting and as set forth above, that withdrawal, the application of Bags Partners LLC for a variance in case number ZBA-2023-ZA at the property of 6631 Bags Road, Williamsburg, is withdrawn without action. All remand proceedings are dismissed as moot. This is a final decision that resolves the application and remand order. And then there would be a place to record the vote, signature by the chairperson, and then a certification by the ZBA secretary.
From a procedural standpoint, should we vote on each of the findings of fact to make sure we cover all of our bases? Or can all be included as part of the motion if we agree to all of it?
It can be included as one motion if you agree with all of it. So what you can do is say, move to adopt the resolution to approve withdrawal as presented during the meeting. And then if you get a second, then you can have further discussion. If there is a tweak to any of the findings of fact the members want to go over, we could do that then. And you could have individual motions on changes to that content.
So how about the Highmore's request that we include something that refers this back to the Whitewater Board?
Yeah, good question. I think I understand where that's coming from, which is the land division ordinance. When we look at specifically variances, it says the township board or its designee shall have power to vary or modify the application of the provisions of this ordinance, and then gives those elements. And then as well, there is the township board did take some action regarding the property, both in May and September, I believe, if I'm remembering the timeline correctly. So right, and so they're saying, well, this kind of started at the township board, and then they sent it to the ZBA. So then once the ZBA does this, shouldn't it go back? But I don't think it needs to be addressed by the ZBA or included in the resolution. And that's because there isn't anything in in the land division ordinance, excuse me, that indicates that would need to happen. When you get through the variance piece, the only next step that's provided is if a variance is granted, then it's directed to be recorded with the Register of Deeds. So there's nothing that says if an application is withdrawn, it, should go back in front of another body for business, or if it's denied that it needs to go in front of another body for additional business. And so even though, like I said, it kind of makes some practical sense where that thought is coming from, there isn't a legal requirement to do that, nor anything that would automatically kind of vest this back in the township board. And since they have already considered it, those decisions are on the record and in their minutes. So they have considered it. And to the extent, I think we just let the future be the future. The request that this body has is what should it do with this variance? And of course, initially that was weighing all the factors. And then now here tonight, it's okay, the applicant doesn't want to go forward. Can they just withdraw it? So I think this body stays focused on the business in front of it. And to the extent there's additional, pieces that happen or move in the future, we let those play out as they may or as they need to, as it moves forward.
So as you mentioned, the variance that was granted, I assume was filed with the Register of Deeds. Do we have to address that?
No, because I actually suspect it was not filed with the Register of Deeds because it was never final. When it's appealed to the circuit court, a stay was entered. So even though it was initially affirmed, whether that was going to be valid for the property was stayed and not legally enforceable as the appeals continued. And then since the Court of Appeals vacated it, it no longer had any effect, which is why we're back here tonight. If I'm wrong and there was something actually recorded, I'm also not terribly concerned about that. I mean, there's maybe a question for the landowner, just knowing what his chain of title says, but the Court of Appeals opinion is publicly available, which gives the vacation of that variance. So even if, whether it's someone reading the initial minutes from this ZBA and wondering what the status was, or something at the Register of Deeds, there's other publicly available information that would notify an individual what the status of the property is. So no, to answer your question, I'm not concerned about anything at the Register of Deeds, nor do I have any information suggesting there's anything reported that we need to do something about.
Are we ready to move ahead?
Yeah, I don't have any more questions or comments. Anyone else?
I am, I'm ready. You making a motion or somebody?
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution as presented by the attorney. Resolution.
I second
You want me to-
And it's the resolution to
Withdraw.
accept the withdrawal request and dismiss the remand as moot.
It will be 2026-01.
Thank you.
I will support that motion,
Could I read it back, please? To you.
please.
Just a couple seconds, please. Thanks.
Sorry.
Mr. Gall made a motion to adopt resolution 2026-01, accepting the withdrawal request and dismissing the remand as presented during the meeting. Did that include everything? You need withdrawal of variance application, specific words?
Did you say to adopt the resolution?
Yes.
Yep.
To adopt the resolution accepting the withdrawal request and dismiss the remand as presented during the meeting. That's the verbiage that I got from what was talked about.
Yes, I think that captures the discussion and the intent of the motion.
Great. We need a roll call vote.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Richard Boyd,
Yay.
Mr. Eric Gall,
Yay.
Mr. Roberto Garza,
Yes.
and myself, Wendy Hooksma, yes.
And who seconded the motion?
That would be me. Madam Clerk.
Excellent.
Declare this resolution adopted.
And then we'll make sure to get that typed up version out to you guys so you can get it printed. It'll go out tonight here. We'll just double check for spelling
Thank
errors on our end.
So we can move on to the agenda.
Okay. Item number 9, other matters for review by the zoning board of appeals, correspondence received.
None.
None. Zoning board of appeals members.
Nothing.
So I think that is maybe talking about the new PC representative. Are you aware?
No.
There's a new PC representative, Scott Trumbull, that was appointed to the ZBA. He's here in the audience. Right, yep, yeah, so that's why he's in the audience still. We didn't want to throw him to the. Right, yeah. Yeah, it was 8 hours ago. So he'll be joining us for next meeting.
Move on to the election of officers. Motion to nominate.
Nominate ZBA board members, correct? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're nominating someone to be a chair.
We're going to start with the chair, the vice chair, secretary.
Okay.
Motion to nominate the chair.
Are you continuing after this?
No.
or- No? Okay. That is official. Okay. I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. Boyd then for the chair.
You can deny if you'd like, I mean,
When you get a second.
I was giving him a way out, but
Other nominations.
no, I'm gonna second that nomination.
Okay.
So we have a new member, right?
We do.
And he's not present. Should we wait to defer this until he's present?
It's a good
Future
question.
meeting?
But I don't know if our bylaws, yeah. Our bylaws might make us do this today, not sure.
Think we can table it?
Then you want to have another meeting. We need a chair. We
Right.
have to decide somebody tonight. We need a chair.
Well, we have one nomination.
We do.
Do you not want to do it, Dick?
I'm not excited about doing it.
Does Mr. Trumbull want to do it? No. And you don't want to do it?
Hmm?
You don't want to do it?
I mean, I'm just relatively new to the board, therefore I
yeah.
feel like maybe
Yeah,
You present
I'm 2 or 3 meetings
quite
in.
professional,
Oh, boy.
but
It's the experienced one.
you're probably the most experienced of the board members.
Yeah,
It's only the remainder of this year, right?
yes.
This year, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Mr. Boyd accepted the nomination
he did.
and there were no other noms.
Nope. So we need a verbal vote.
Garza, yes.
All those in favor.
Isn't it a roll?
Is
call?
roll call vote?
I thought it was in the past.
Okay, I'll do what you say.
Oh. Let me think about it a little longer. Come up with lots of things. Okay, roll call, please.
Garza says yes. Mr. Gall,
Yes.
Mr. Boyd,
Yes.
and myself is yes.
Motion to nominate the vice chair.
Motion carried. You're the new chair. So you know that I can't do either of those things, so.
Right.
Yeah.
You can stay the secretary, right?
I can, yes,
Yes. So we have to appoint a vice chair.
right. Right, yeah. I nominate Eric Gall to be the vice chair.
I second that.
There you go.
Misery loves
There
company.
you go.
Mr. Garza,
Hold
that
up,
was your vote?
hold up.
Yes.
Does Mr. Gall accept the
He
nomination?
doesn't have a choice.
Yes.
And there were no other nominations, correct?
No,
So Mr.
on it.
Garza says yes. Yep, I know we are.
Who seconded that?
Myself.
You made the motion,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
Wrote it.
yeah, Roberta.
okay? Roberto seconded? I'm,
I second it.
okay, I'm sorry, I hadn't heard that. Thank you.
Sorry. So
So Garza says yes. Boyd,
Yes.
Gall,
Yes.
Huxma, yes.
Thank you.
okay, moving on, nominate.
Do we have to name your secretary again?
Yes. Same process.
I nominate Wendy Hooksum as be secretary of the zoning board of appeals.
I support.
I'll accept.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations?
And does anybody else want to do it?
And was that Garza that seconded?
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Roll call vote, Boyd,
Yes.
Garza,
Yes.
myself, yes, and Gall.
Yes.
Good thing we have no more positions.
Okay, moving on to item D. Meeting schedule for the year 2026.
This is gonna be the one I emailed to you later.
Right.
Yeah.
I move to accept the proposed meeting schedule for 2026.
Are you including the resolution number in your motion?
It's O2.
Resolution number 2026-02 in your motion, right? Mr. Boyd?
I move that zoning board of appeals accept resolution ZBA 2602, identifying meeting dates for the calendar year 2000, or I'm sorry, for the year 2026.
Isn't it 2601?
26, 20.
Yeah, but we already did a 2601, so now we have to
Yeah.
change this one.
And Wendy, for the consistency of titling that was talked about previously, would be DBA 2026 -02, not 26-02,
Yes,
is that
thank
right?
you.
Okay,
And I'll second that motion.
thank you.
So Garza? The roll call vote, if you
Yes.
accept the meeting dates, yes. Boyd,
Yes.
Gall,
Yes.
Hoeksema, yes.
Are we to the budget?
Now we're to the bylaws, right?
Are we still on the bylaws?
Viewing the bylaws.
Oh, I'm sorry. I reviewed the bylaws.
Yep, and I actually have some amendments I wanted to make. It's regarding the recording secretary. And it's page 23 of our packet.
Is this the last revision of 2020?
Yeah. So then, the recording secretary where it says correspondence and attendance. So it's section I, and then sections 2 and 3 says the recording secretary shall be responsible for presenting all communications. It should just probably say the secretary and leave out the word recording. I mean, I will always have, the secretary should have the correspondence. And then attendance as well, maintaining the attendance record for the meeting.
You're saying just erase the word recording
Yeah,
for
on
clarity
both of those
purposes?
sections, yeah.
Okay. Were there any other changes?
I don't have any other changes unless you guys do.
I didn't notice anything, so
What?
I didn't notice anything. Change, so make a motion to accept it. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the bylaws as written with the correction.
Boyd will second.
I believe that's a roll call vote.
Garza, yes.
Oh, yes.
Boyd, yes.
Hoeksema, yes.
Now the budget.
All right, moving on to the budget. Does everybody have a copy of that?
What's the difference between salaries and wages?
Salaries are, the people who are present here. Wages would be like anything extra, like doing, any hourly wage for like agendas or, yeah, anything like, not training, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Any corrections?
Any corrections on the budget?
Well,
I've got a question real quick.
I think the education and training is a little low.
Is this the time to address what is the cost to have one of these? If you want to submit a variance appeal to this board and call the meeting, what is the cost the applicant has to pay? Do we even cover the cost? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Can you talk about that?
Ask that question again.
the cost to actually have one of these meetings? If somebody wants a variance and has to call a meeting, there's a substantial amount of cost for the township involved here.
There is,
Are we even covering that cost with the applicant fee?
very close. It's closer. It's not 100%, but they did increase rates in September, or in April of this year. And
Okay.
we hadn't had any rate increases since 2011, so it,
So when you say very close, is it a net negative then for the township? Are we losing money on every one of these? Should we revisit potentially so we're not? I want to make sure the township's not losing money, and I also want to,
you have a board representative here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And-
tell you,
and-
it's probably around $560 for this meeting right now, at least.
cost,
At least,
not the
yeah.
applicant fee.
Just
Okay.
for the people around the table.
Right.
Right.
That's not counting LIAA, who's
Well,
here
it was
tonight,
not. Yep, and it was
Um,
not counting the lawyers.
or the lawyer fees,
Right.
so.
Which that's an abnormal, but still, yeah.
I mean, it's ideal if you can have it be a wash, but,
Do you know what the other townships are charging? Are we fairly in line?
yeah, you are.
Okay.
And honestly, our ZBA reps are not paid the same as PC reps.
Understood.
So I was going to fight for that during the budget process.
They're not?
No,
Well, you better go for
I
it.
wasn't involved in the last budget talk, so I will be this time.
And keep in mind, I mean, on average, you're having 3 to 4 meetings in a year.
Mhm.
But the key thing is to make sure people are going out and getting the training.
Right. So I would like to increase our training amount. I don't think 500 is enough.
I would also note, before you kind of move on regarding the fees, I'm appreciative of the concern, and comment to keep the township in a strong fiscal position. And we see it across the state, as you've heard tonight, the fees charged do their best to cover the fixed costs, for the boards, but it is not uncommon for it to cost more for a zoning board of appeals or a planning commission request, to be a bit of a net negative on the overall budget. And that's just government, that's government being government, because we're providing that governmental service to the public and the applicants. So that essentially a long-winded way of reiterating, I agree with everything else that was said.
So the township's not in the business of making money.
Indeed, it is not.
No. So I think we should probably just move some of the publishing money to the education and training. So it doesn't look like,
I think the publishing is low.
I know.
Because some of the publishing that we're doing with the newspaper and,
but this is probably just for ZBA.
okay. When I publish in the newspaper, it's more than 120
I
bucks a
know, I
pop.
think it should be.
And there were
least
at least
500.
4 this past year that I did public notices on. And it's usually about $140 each.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it's all rolling up, and maybe it's just because of the BSNA. I pulled this document from the December mid-year board report. Maybe it's something to review in the future. The fiscal year ends at the end of March, and the new fiscal year will go in April. And I believe this deputy supervisor is working on putting together budget numbers. So if you have recommendations, probably the good time to put forth recommendations for changes.
Well, on your lodging, that would, that would cover very little on the lodging, meals and lodging.
yes, if you traveled if we all traveled somewhere and did a training, yeah,
That might cover one person
right.
for one.
And since we are newer people, I feel like that needs to happen.
Prices from like 30 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
So to be clear, we're just making recommendations and then giving this back to the board. So, I mean, I say that we increase some of these things and tell them we want, more meals and lodging and more education money.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, like even the mileage reimbursement just to drive downstate, that didn't.
You have what you need, Wendy?
I don't know. So I'm thinking that, maybe keeping the publishing at like 750. And then 1,000 for education, 500 for meals and lodging and 500 for mileage. But would you guys think that it should be more than that? Do you plan on getting education, or are you gonna do webinars? Like,
I think education is something we should all work on, especially for the legal side of things.
right,
But as far as traveling, I'm probably not going to travel a whole lot unless we have to. Especially the number of online resources that are
Right.
available to us now. And,
okay,
so I think if you increase it, I think it'd be reasonable enough to have some.
right,
But yeah, I don't think you need a ton.
And I would agree fully.
yeah.
Same thing.
So keeping the other numbers kind of the same, but then mileage reimbursement 500, meal and lodging 500, education and training to 1,000, and then publishing to 750.
Yeah, I think that's
Just
reasonable.
because like some of the education and training, is like $150 a webinar kind of thing, and they might add up.
Yeah, I think the money spent there versus the lodging would be probably a more beneficial place to put it. But both could use some more. You all set with that?
I am,
Yeah.
if you guys agree.
Do we need to make a motion to agree to that for you to send it then? Is
I
that
think
what
so,
we're,
yeah.
okay, to cover our bases?
So let me figure out here how much more.
Can we move on to item number 10?
In just 1 minute, we have to make a motion to,
Oh, we have to make a motion on the recommendations that we said?
we believe so, just for the sake of making sure. That we're in agreement.
I think it saves having to meet again to get this pushed through.
I think that increases our budget to $12,850. So that's what we'll present to the board. So just a slight increase.
Seems reasonable.
I make a motion to amend this budget and present it to the board for $12,850.
I'll second. Boyd will second.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
I don't think that is.
Just all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion carried.
All right, report of the planning commission representative.
Since we have none,
We have none.
nope,
Report of the township board representative.
that would be me. So a couple things for you guys to be aware of. Last night, there was actually a meeting that was presented by Michigan State University. And they do have a lot of good classes and training. This one was held at Mill Creek last night for short-term rentals. It was a kind of a public workshop. It was pretty well attended. Had approximately 45 people on Zoom, about 71 in person. So they were getting all their feedback about short-term rentals. So this is not directly any ZBA action, but it's just keep in mind for future zoning discussions, this could affect us. And it might result in items that might come to the ZBA. I just thought you guys should know about. There's also been several FOIAs or Freedom of Information Acts for requests related to zoning, including like our training. There's actually a FOIA that asked how much training do we have? And the training for the PC, that kind of thing. So that is interesting. There's also one for the zoning decisions and short-term rental enforcement cost of the township. So it ensures increased public interest in zoning matters. So thought you guys should know that as well. And then obviously we should just all be keeping up to date in the events in Whitewater Township, and you can check the calendar for that too, because I try to keep that up to date.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Report of the zoning administrator.
The report of the zoning administrator is in your packets. I don't know if anyone has any questions. We do have a few things that are going on in the community. are pursuing a short-term rental that's been going on for a couple of years. There is a hearing scheduled for Monday, the 26th. And our attorneys will be representing us at that hearing. You have any questions about my report? Because I want to defer to section 3 of your bylaws. If you go under the zoning board of appeals shall perform the following duties: act on applications, variances, and appeals. But B, prepare an annual budget and an annual report. So not only do you need to do an annual budget, but you need to do an annual report and kind of summarize everything that's gone on in this past year and submit it to the board. So if that's not something you want to do as a group, if you want to nominate someone, I'd be more than happy to work with them to put together that annual report. I do a summary and I will roll up all of the permits I've done in the last 12 months. I think I issued 96 permits in the last 12 months. And I think we had 13 or 15 land divisions, 5 or 6 special site plan reviews, special land use, and I think we had 4 appeals that came before the board, the Township Zoning Board of Appeals. So if somebody wants help with that, I can help you with that annual budget, but it's not the annual budget, but the annual report that you need to submit to the board. So
When would be the good time to present that? The end of the year or the beginning of the year? Like, when does the township
Well,
board set up?
the fiscal year ends at the end of March, so
Yeah.
this probably needs to get into the board February or March, and that will help support your new budget request. So if you are wanting a little more in your budget, you can make it incorporated into part of your report. That we do have a lot of new members. We actually picked up a couple of alternate members last year. We're still looking for a member. So if there's anyone that is wanting to be on the ZBA, we are still looking for applicants. So anyway, any questions for me? But I did want to point that out to you. And just so you know, I think last year I kind of spoke to the fact that the way your rules of procedure are listed, you have the applicant explain why they are coming before the zoning board of appeals. And I had suggested last year that it's kind of nice that if I did it before they get up and speak, because I can kind of lay the groundwork of what transpired to make them come before the zoning board of appeals. Usually somebody wants to build into a setback or whatever, and I should be denying them before they get to the point of coming to you. So it kind of helps. But we did it the way we did it tonight because that's the way it is in the bylaws. So I will follow the bylaws because that's what you guys are rolling with. Any questions for me?
You're suggesting that you speak before.
The applicant
Applicants
gets
to
up and
move you.
presents their case. Yeah. Because that way I can,
You can lay the ground.
and I can say,
Yeah.
you know, Eric came to me and wanted to build a pole barn, but he wanted to build it 2 feet into the setback. I denied him. We looked at other opportunities on his property of where we could have put that building. And his drain field was here and his well was here and his septic was here and his driveway was there. And this is why he's before the ZBA today.
It's not opinion based, it's factual based on.
It's all
the
fact
situation
based
that
on the
was presented.
variance. And I will deny that person based on a specific zoned ordinance. So they would know what they are appealing. What is the zoned ordinance that they have to file an appeal to have for a variance or for an interpretation or whatever the case may be.
I actually think it's a pretty good idea to hear that. first.
Just a thought, but that's not the way it's, and I may have flipped it a couple times when I've been here, just because depending on what the case is, it's a little easier if I explain how we got to this point before they get up and present their case on why they want this a certain way. So it's just a thought. Something to think about. It's not something you can wait till next year. You can do it next year too. If I'm still here. No, just kidding, kidding. So anyway, but you do need to do an annual report. So if someone wants to get with me, I can get you the details and then it's just adding some additional information, kind of summarizing things that have happened in the last year. If you want me to take a run at the draft and then you guys want to review it and tweak it from there,
I can work with you on that
I can.
if everyone else is busy.
Either way. Well, we need to work with Wendy on it too.
Right.
If we can get something drafted. And unfortunately, you weren't here last year, Eric, so it's
Yeah, I know.
tough. But I can draft something, I can run it past you on email, and then we can get it to Wendy if you guys want to incorporate some other ideas into it.
Sure.
Yeah,
So you
sounds
could do that while you're, sipping margaritas in Florida or something too. So, if you're bored and like, oh, I should do something with ZBA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Public comment. Anybody have a public comment to make?
Vicky Beam is on Zoom and she would like to make a public comment. Does anyone have a problem with that?
No? Go ahead, Vicky.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you all very much for your time this evening. I appreciate the fact that we have a couple of new members on the ZBA. Mr. Garza, I thank you for your time that you have been on there, and wish you the best of luck going forward. I am not sure if Baggs Road and the development is over or not. And I guess that because you are all new, if we do move forward with anything else, I really do encourage you to take the time to review the timeline of what has happened in the past. This whole debacle started because the 4-1 was not actually enforced, and I really do know that we have extreme pressure on our entire township for development, especially with the governor changing some things. Rural character is why we all moved here, or it's certainly why I moved here. And I just really hope that you all help us in keeping that going forward. I guess the only other comment I have, when you all are doing your budget, I'm not really sure why the attorneys stayed on as long as they did tonight. I don't know why they needed to be part of the budget. I certainly hope we weren't being charged every 6-minute increment for them to listen to you guys in the budget. But again, thank you so much for your time. Have a great night. Stay warm.
Thank you, Vicky, and thank you for the comment you made about me. Appreciate it. I would also like to make a comment. I've been here a number of years, and this meeting brings an end to my service for the township. I would, and this is a question here. I would like a letter of acknowledgement. I'm not sure if you do that or not. And if you do, who takes that, who receives that?
That would be me.
That would be you, okay?
Yeah.
So if you have time, or when you have time soon, I would like a letter of acknowledgement for the years
Thank you.
of service. I started as an alternative alternate, and then served as the vice chair and then chair, and met some very wonderful people who I believe are fighting for the township in many, many ways. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned.
8:29.